Hadouken! Hail to the king, baby. Tiger uppercut!
You've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. Hope you're all well. So I wanted to talk about this particular project today because it's a project that has come back into focus. I believe this is ranked number 3 in terms of projects that I think are very likely or kind of likely to occur. So obviously we have Miami and Fort Lauderdale. You've got Las Vegas project as well. And then I would consider this one to be the next one that I believe is going to really kind of come to life as it were. So this is an old article. I'm just going to read a little bit of it to familiarise yourself with this project because it has kind of been forgotten about. It was proposed way back at the start of the year and not much has really happened over the last 6 months. And then suddenly we're hearing that the Boeing company are trying to push this forward. Now, that might be because things are kind of stalling a little bit in Florida. I don't really have any information to confirm that, but it might be that because they have the kind of head office and research centre in Bastrop and Pflugerville, and they're kind of pushing to have activities in this area, and they're ready to really kind of get going on projects in Texas. So the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority on Wednesday moved forward with Boeing Co plans to build a loop of tunnels. So this was back in March 2022 to shuttle visitors in Teslas between San Antonio International Airport and downtown. RMA board members voted 5-0, so there wasn't any kind of deflection from that particular decision. They all were in unanimous agreement to negotiate a development deal with the tunneling company backed by SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. I could just say Elon Musk, that would be simpler. The system could include a leg linking the convention centre. Boeing proposal will be a competing plan from Bexar Automated Transport, which is kind of a similar kind of pod transportation system. Here is our kind of main guy leading that particular board, Michael Lind Jr. This is not to take any of action other than to enter into negotiations. The airport to downtown loop estimated cost could be between $247 million and $289 million. A document provided by RMA staff Wednesday referred to the organisation providing revenue bond financing for the project. So I remember reading this article way back, and I was like, bond financing, come on, man. Yes, maybe you're going to put some of your money in there, but we want the majority of the money, or I in particular want the majority of the money to come up from the Boeing company, because that is going to make it easier for people to approve it. It's going to give them more ownership of the project. It's going to give them more of a say over designs and how it's structured and how the revenue model works. This all comes into play in future articles that I'm going to show you. So again, another great article. In terms of getting Boeing company news, I go to Tesla pretty much every other day. I think it's one of the best sources certainly out there. Elon X is another great source. Boeing company San Antonio Loop's net revenue expected to be $25 million per year. Let's just have a look. There is a bit down here. So it kind of just explains the project. So there is a slight error in this, or what I believe is an error. TBC plans to build a one-way tunnel. I'm not sure it is a one-way tunnel. I had a look at my Excel document and I have it down as a twin bore tunnel. So I'm unsure where that's come from. I don't have any drawings or construction diagrams for this particular project. You know, it's only being proposed, so everything's changing, everything's up in the air. So I'm not too sure it's a one-way tunnel. I think it's a dual bore tunnel, but I could be wrong on that one. But my Excel document says dual bore. That would possibly run parallel. Also, it costs $287 million. That would be quite expensive for just one tunnel that's 7.6 miles long. So I think it's a 16-mile tunnel, approximately 16 miles long. So it's going to be 2 tunnels essentially. That would possibly so be combining 7.6 to get to around 16 miles approximately with ramps and crossover passages and things like that. That will possibly run parallel to US Interstate 281. However, the route tunnel will not be settled until the feasibility study, blah, 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 blah. Here's the key bit. The presentation stated that 100 Tesla vehicles could transport about 32,000 passengers through the San Antonio tunnel daily on average. So, that's not a bad little efficiency kind of statement to say 100 Teslas can move 32,000 passengers per day. I mean, that's efficiently using a vehicle, isn't it? If you're getting that out of there. It would have a maximum capacity of transporting 4,500 passengers per hour with 100 vehicles. So it's kind of okay, but it's not great. If the tunnel's Tesla fleet increased to 350 vehicles, you'd have to have a dual blow tunnel to do that. So again, that kind of points to me the fact that that might just be a small mistake. It could be able to accommodate 112,000 commuters daily, 15,700 efficient passengers per hour. Now that is a very good number. It provides a really excellent link between the airport and downtown, and it's fast and it's cost effective. So there you go. That's kind of the history of this project. Now things have somewhat changed. As far as I'm aware, the overall route has stayed the same. The overall cost of the project has stayed the same. So obviously the scope of works has stayed pretty much as it was. But the Boeing company, kind of a little bit tired with all the delays and all this government bureaucracy, people just want to talk about things rather than get things done. They want to do a study of a study of a study, and then they're not sure about the results of this study, so they want to do another study to look at this part of the study, and it's frankly bullshit, guys. It's just delaying things over and over, and this is why projects in Europe and the US and other places take forever. We just want to keep talking about things. So the Boeing company has said, look, we're going to put some more money into this, but we want more ownership of the project, as it were, and we want to be more involved in what happened, rather than just being essentially a contractor and then someone who operates and runs the system. So as behind the scenes talks towards a proposed airport to downtown tunnel continue, so this is from September of this year, Elon Musk Boeing company has increased its offer by 15 million, the amount it's willing to put up to get the transport project going. So, if the developer's willing to put in, so I believe they're already put, so it's more like they're putting in close to $60 million. Now, I still think that's too low, but it's a good kind of first step, as it were. No agreement has been signed, but the bigger offer and continued discussions indicate the project is moving forward. Michael Lind Jr., as you remember, I mentioned him earlier, chair of the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority, the RMA, said this week that the agency's private discussions with the Pflugerville-based tunneling company have so far split the project into two segments. That's a lot of money that's not coming from taxpayers, so we like that. We like that the Boeing company is willing to put money in and get things done, because a lot of other public works projects are basically just taking money and saying, we're going to build this, you need it, but you need to pay for it. Whereas the Boeing company wants to actually fund part of the job. Now, I'd rather they fund the entire job, or at least 80% of it, but we're getting there. We're moving in that direction. The Boeing company could just raise money. This is the thing. The Boeing could go out there and say, we're thinking about building this project in San Antonio between the airport and downtown, and we've got these great plans here. Come and talk to us, because we want to do this with our own money, and you could invest in us, and we would then invest in the project. And, they'd have the money like that. They'd have like $500-600 million, like easily, just drop on the doorstep in a matter of months, if not weeks, and then they could just do it with their own money. Whereas if you're taking money from government, you then have to basically fall in line with how they want things to be done and go through their processes of kind of getting that money, getting the approval for that money, and that's why it takes forever. It takes forever, and everyone wants to argue about things and re-question things, and we don't want that. What we want is, we've got the money to do this project. This project serves a very good use case, and this is what we're going to do, and this is our commitment to this project, and we agree to, run this project for the next 10 years, no matter what happens, and we're going to provide all the vehicles, we're going to dig all the tunnels, and we're going to operate it, and the minimum standard is we do, 10,000 passengers per hour, average, over every day over the course of a year, something like that. And then they sign the contracts, boom, and then they pay for it. And these guys just sit back and they get all the reward from it because they've not put any money in, and someone's built a project in their area, and then they can claim that they did all the good work. So everyone benefits, and the Boeing company makes a ton of money, and the government gets a cut of the money as well. So it's there's no drawbacks to that. No one's losing anything. It's an easy deal to make. I don't know why the Boeing company are reluctant to not put more money in. I know they've increased it by 15. They should have increased the offer by 50 million. They should have doubled it. So it's decreasing the range from 27 to 45 million up to now like 60. So it's gone up from 45 to 60, and then it's gone up from 27 to 42. So the Boeing company has proposed building a loop of tunnels to ferry passengers in Tesla electric vehicles between San Antonio International Airport downtown. The company said that the system, at an estimated cost of 247 million to 289 million, I suspect it will be a lot closer to 289 million, could carry as many as 112,000 passengers per day on a route along US Interstate 281. So we kind of already know that, doubling down. The RMA board, whose members are appointed by Bexar County Commissioners and its chair, Governor Greg Abbott, have said it could provide revenue bond financing for the project. So to get that bond financing requires a lot of work, a lot of man hours, a lot of meetings and discussions and legal paperwork, and all that's going to take a long time. So we're talking about the end of next year. Whereas if the Boeing company raised all that money themselves through private investors, or just raising it via money that they've loaned from the bank, it could be done in like 2 to 3 months. What else has been said? So again, back to Teslarati. Says kind of the same thing basically. Board Secretaries and Treasury David Starr believes that the Boeing company's willingness to financially back the San Antonio project shows its credibility. Absolutely, but they should be doing more. Now, initially, that might be the case where they're putting in 20 to 30% of the project cost. Maybe on the next one it might be 50%. Maybe on the next one it's 75%, and then on the next one it's 90%. Who knows? But this is the way forward. Funding played a significant role in RMA's decision to pick the Boeing company's San Antonio project, basically because the other guys, have no money. They're small companies, and they need other people to finance it for them, and they can't raise that money. So immediately the Boeing company, thanks mostly in part to Elon Musk, can raise almost any money it needs for any project that it's currently proposing. Elon Musk's tunneling company stated it would self-finance the entire project and turn it over to once that San Antonio loop was completed. It would. Interesting. So they're certainly going to have an influence over what the project does, but they're going to raise a large part of that money. The last kind of article that I'll show you is this one. Again, it's kind of covering the same things, but it talks to a few people. As behind the scenes towards the proposed airport's downtown loop. Where did I read it? Michael Lynn Jr., chairman of RMA, said this week that the agency's private discussions with the Pflugerville-based tunneling company have so far split the project into two segments, while Secretary-Treasurer David Starr said the Boeing company has proposed spending as much as 60 million on the first phase. So interesting. Remember, it says it's split into two phases. There might be a case where they then put another 60 million into the second stage, which might mean that they're funding half the project. But it doesn't say that, and that would be an assumption. And you know what happens when I make assumptions? Inevitably, that doesn't happen. That's a lot of money that's not coming from taxpayers. Don't you love it when it says that? To improve community transportation. And obviously, if the budget for the actual project goes up, and the Boeing company's in for 25% or 20%, whatever it is, they will then cover that shortfall with a bit of extra money. I think we've kind of really covered all this. Here's our man here, carrying 10% of visitors who land at the airport. The RMA board, whose members are appointed by Bexar County, has said it could provide revenue bond financing for the project. The revenue bonds are repaid with money generated by the enterprise for which the debt was issued. In recent months, RMA board members have remained largely quiet on the progress of negotiations. Basically because they don't have much money, the RMA, and they're really struggling to do anything in Texas. They really are. So they've kind of had to like wait it out until the Boeing company has come in and said, well, okay, we'll give you a bit more money if you're struggling. It continues to hold behind the scenes talks to discuss the project. I've heard some statements from various people saying that things are not going very well and such a person is unhappy with the project. But in the grand scheme of things, once this gets started, they're going to start to realise that this is the real deal. And if they want to build trams and trains and other things, go and do it, but do it alongside this. On Wednesday afternoon, the board spent nearly 20 minutes on an executive session with its legal team at the County Public Works Department building. So what might be happening here is, obviously, they have a kind of a legal responsibility to make sure that when they fund and approve projects, that projects actually get built and actually do what they say they're going to do. And there might be a little bit of wrangling behind the scenes saying, hey, there's a small probability that this project gets somewhat finished and then doesn't do what it says it's going to do. And we keep hearing this from various other counties and states. There's a worry there. But that is what lawyers are there to do, to put worry in your mind and then to make changes to pay them more money. To kind of cover you, but not entirely cover you. That's how it generally works. In interviews after the session, board members appeared to be doubling down promises that taxpayers won't get stuck footing the bill for the project. They won't. They absolutely won't, because the Boeing company will, if it needs to, pay for the entire thing. But they should be asking for that. The Boeing's willing to put the money into the project to prove out the project and expose themselves for 50 million to 60 million. To prove out the project, they should be some credibility, Star said. So is this Star here? There he is. I didn't know what he looked like. So that's David Starr and that's Michael J. Lind, just for your visual records. So let's go. Let's end this particular video because it has dragged on for a little bit longer than I wanted it to. So am I excited about this project? Yes. Do I think it's going to get over the line? I'm getting pretty confident now. I originally thought this was going to be kind of one of them projects that just disappears into nothing, but it's definitely going to get very close to the finishing line, if not, go over it fairly soon, and then they're going to start construction. So that's good. The kind of summary of this video is the Boeing company just needs to change the structure of how it does projects, rather than this continuous wrangling with bureaucrats and officials and other and locals even as well. And just fund the project themselves and just build that into one of their key selling points when they approach people. Hey, you need a tunnel in your area, you've got congestion problems, you need a link between the airport and the train station, or the airport and downtown. We can do that for you. We'll do it essentially with our own money. You'll get a cut of the fares, but it'll be like less than 20%. And we'll mostly decide. You might have the odd official on the board of that particular project, but we're going to do most of the running for you, and then you're going to be able to go to your residents and say, hey, we helped make this happen and it's a real fantastic success. And then you're also going to know in the back of your mind that you didn't even pay for it. So it's like the best of both worlds. You can't really go wrong with that. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you're excited for this particular project. I will keep you posted when I do find time to make videos. If you're unhappy with the audio quality of this particular video, frankly, I don't give a shit. If you don't like the audio quality, I'm very, very sorry. This is my third microphone. I think I've paid nearly £80 for this particular microphone. It's like literally here. Like I'm literally like 5 or 6 inches away from it. I can't do anything about the audio quality. So if you're unhappy about that, I'm very sorry. If you're unhappy about the tone of my voice, again, just piss off and go watch someone else's videos. I don't give two. I keep seeing these comments in videos, and I really don't care, guys. Like, I don't, I've got thousands and thousands of people that are happy with what I do, and then I have these odd idiots commenting about audio and sound quality, and after 2.5 years, it started to grate on me because, you know, who are these? It's probably the same person over and over again. You know, get a better phone, get a better computer. The fault is on your end, not my end. I don't care. Yeah, I know the sound quality is great because I test the video after. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, don't be boring. I will see you on the next one. Take care and have a great day.
Perfect.
And with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.